Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome to the next big idea. An incredible journey of innovation, passion and game-changing ideas. Let's see what this team brings to the table.
Basically, it's a one-stop destination for all the industry-relevant individuals or organization to access data. So when any specialty chemical company spends about 3% of their revenue on R&D. So we are trying to leverage that and give them all the data and insights related to all the relevant chemicals and petrochemicals through a on-demand business model. So the TAM for this is a manufacturing industry, which has a growth rate of 8.21% for till the year 2028. Then the SAM is India's chemical and petrochemical industry, which
This is a mobile application?
This is a web application.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, which aggregates chemicals.
Chemicals and petrochemicals. So the SAM is the India's chemical and petrochemical industry, which has a growth rate of about 10 to 12% for next 16 years and is valued at 190 to 220 billion USD. And the SOM is basically we have considered Gujarat's chemical and petrochemical industry as SOM here, which currently has 14% of the market share and will grow up to 40% by the year 2047 and has a CAGR of about 10% for the next 5 years.
So we are focusing currently on two different kinds of users here. One segment of the user will be someone who is trying to, let's say, put up a new company which is producing chemicals, let's say, or someone who is already there in the market and wants to analyze what others are doing, basically. And the other segment will be a user like you and me, where we are going to go to the portal and check what chemical is available where, what purity, all of that. This can be useful where we are just using the chemicals and we are not bothered with how the chemical is produced or something. So that is the two types of users that we are talking about. In this model that we are talking about, the first kind of users will be paying us to use the system. This user will not pay. So going ahead, this is what it is. Technology, like we have said, is the data that is coming is from the industry itself. So we are saying that it is authenticated.
So basically the whole chemical industry, there is no standardization or regularization. For example, if let's take a simple example. If in a school there is a lab and if I want a new chemical, usually the teachers contact someone they know through WhatsApp. There is no standardization or there is no regularization of safety measures.
What percentage of market is organized and what is not organized? Because if you see larger industries who need chemicals, something, let's say manufacturers who are using resins and all. I do just know one example. There, how much of them go random searching? How much of them already have tie-ups? Look to buy this in an organized way. How are you going to give them a confidence that the data that we are presenting is going to solve your problem of identifying quick, reliable?
So the data is authenticated and the government websites are also providing this data along with it. And one of the methods to authenticate is by using IoT in this, in further stages of this.
I'm missing one term. I want to listen that, but keep telling.
Yeah, so we are thinking of using IoT in the next phases of this project, where we will be implementing sensors on the machineries of the factories, through which we will be getting real-time and authentic data.
Okay. Next.
So rather than someone sitting and filling out a form or let's say whatever, we are directly fetching it from the sensor. So that one thing is sure that we can't alter that.
Not practical, but okay. Next.
So these are the two companies largely that we found were doing something similar. SciFinder is not in India, and it is the company which actually came up with the CAS number for chemicals. So this is one of the oldest oldest companies who is doing chemical indexing and all of that. And ChemRobotics is a company which is doing a similar kind of thing, but in agrochemical sector. So what they are doing is collecting data their entire business is based upon consulting. So a company comes to me and I will help them with whatever. They are not selling data or anything. Their product is consultancy. We have covered the problem, all of the above, most of the above points. What is not covered has been written there, the cost structure and revenue streams. We are saying that because it is a web application, we'll need a server to host it and development to keep it updated. Otherwise, the website would look old after some time. So the first two things talk about that. And because the data that is going, we are assuming that the data is going to be in a very large volume, we also would need a data storage. It could be AWS cloud or let's say a server machine located at some office. And we are saying, I have specifically mentioned email marketing, but any marketing strategy that we'll be using, because this is something that needs to reach the customer. The customer might not themselves find out about this. So that is that. And variable cost is how the people working, project specific expenses, because projects could be pertaining to a particular kind of chemical or something like that. So we are saying that marketing cost and transaction, because money is involved, we are saying that. And the revenue streams is, here now we are assuming that, like I said, the general user is not paying to use the system. Whoever is paying is the industry. So what I am assuming that if I go to company A and I am saying that this is my system, if you want to use it, I can give it to you in two different ways.
Who is taking the pain of generating that data? It's all about the data that you get, you're collating and preparing a sort of a yellow pages or something like India Mart for chemical, petrochemical. Who is going to take the pain? Are the vendors going to list themselves?
No.
So we are saying that the vendor or whoever the company generating is, they produce a data sheet at the end of a production. While they have to put it out in the market, they need to specify their specification, whatever, purity, whatever, on the website that where they are hosting. That document itself is going to be our data, but much more detailed. In the documents that they put up on their own websites or on IndiaMart, let's say, that is not detailed at all. They will just put whatever is purity, they'll put a chemical for composition or something like that. But the data that we are correcting, we are asking them.
How are you going to do that? Who is going to take the pain of?
We are actually fetching the data right now through the API calls that we are using to get it directly to our MongoDB server, and then we are fetching it from our MongoDB to the front end of the system.
They have written actually variable cost. It's their cost to verify and check and actually host the
That's
data.
going to be very tedious. Okay, anyway, there are platforms which are already there. Your competitors are there already. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so other cost, I mean revenue streams that I was saying, if I go to a company A and I go to company B, I tell company A that if you want to use my system, either you pay me my total cost, whatever it is, or you also contribute to my data set. So I'll give you some cost cut from that. So let's say, assuming it is a number. So I say that you give me your data and I'll give you 30% discount on whatever cost I'm incurring. So one is that, and then data downloads, because this data is going to be available on with us and not freely available openly on the website. And some person or some entity trying to do analysis or forecasting or something like that would need this data. So that data downloads is that API access is direct. I mean, our system through some code if someone else is wanting to use, and data, like I told with the company.
Is the infrastructure only going to be through cloud, or are
Through
you
cloud.
going to be a dedicated server at a place doing all these things? How is it? Is it
Having
distributed?
cloud would be much more easier than hosting a server itself, because then after every few times, since the data is going to be increasing, we'll have to go on increasing the server infrastructure. So
One
cloud
term
in
which
that
I have
case.
been missing, I was yielding to listen but not happening, was the blockchain. How do you look to use that to handle this data, which is now distributed? There are users, there are producers which are so much distributed, there are categories and all. That is the technology which does that, attributing.
So, yeah, I know everyone is moving towards blockchain nowadays, and we also give it a thought. But there's one drawback of blockchain, that the whole thing becomes apparently extremely transparent. So, if I am person A who is uploading my data and his person B is uploading his data, we both can view what we are actually putting on it.
And that would hamper our revenue model, because B is paying me money to look at A's data. So if that becomes transparent, he is directly looking at the data. So
No, if you
IIS
see,
would not exist.
I'll quickly put it in one word. There is GEM. Yeah. There is this government e-procurement portal, GEM, which does that. There are all competitors, all vendors who are competing, having that data that adds confidence. I don't want to rely on IndiaMart customers or vendors listed. There is, they are pushing themselves. They are hiding something to just sell. So that's the difference between. And this is what will help you in adding. If I'm going to search for a vendor on your portal, I need confidence.
So are you looking at directly manufacturer?
Yeah,
Producers.
not a middle.
Not no. Achha, last question. Why did you attach petrochemicals? Only chemicals would have been good enough.
What we can say, the scope was large enough here, and we
Chemicals itself, industrial, pharmaceutical, so many uses are there. So if you
Fertilizers, whatnot.
petrochemicals again becomes different.
Honestly speaking, last month when we were competing for SIH, the whole scope of the problem statement had chemicals and petrochemicals.
So what
Do it
stage are
only
you in
petrol.
right now?
We are just in the ideas.
ID.
Ideation stage. Okay,
Prototypes.
just meet me after this. We can just discuss. Yeah, thanks.
And now it's time for judges' opinion about the pitch. So, it was a good one.